matrix. If you're tired of the matrix, you're going to want to watch this entire video because we're going to tell you what you need to be doing right now to leave the matrix for good, if that's your goal. So, number one, if you want to leave the matrix for good, you need to look for an African country that's visa free for Americans. You have a few of them. You have Cape Verde, you have South Africa, you have Botswana, you have Seychelles, you have Mauritius. These African nations are going to make it easy for you to make a quick, speedy move and have a high level of success. Now, I was actually on Threads a few days ago, and people were complaining about how difficult it is to travel throughout Africa. And I can't disagree with them. It is difficult if you're like traveling every 30 days, 60 days. You're trying to go from like Ghana to Nigeria to Tanzania to Kenya without any strategy. But if you're traveling as a long term digital nomad and you're staying in a place for multiple years and you have digital nomad residence, then it's easier to live and travel in Africa for a sustained long term. So I think that's one of the big issues that people do. That's one of the main problems. They see Africa is like, let me just hop everywhere. The way people travel Europe or Asia, you can't travel Africa like that.
Yeah. For me, I think it's more of, I think the first thing is they need to really get their finances together,
That's true.
because you can't choose a country and you can't country hop without your finances being solid. You got to have a solid monthly income. And I know we say it all the time. We say it time after time. If you have a monthly income of over, just depending on your family size and stuff, just say a single person, um, it varies, I guess, 2,000 a month, you will be good. So always you
Hmm.
got to focus on how can I get that sustainable 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 a month to be able to country hop from time to time, years at a time or months at a time. It just depends on you. So you always got to keep that. That should be the first thing. That should be the number one thing, really.
Yeah, when we say finances, we wouldn't suggest you depending on a 9 to 5 and then coming over, especially since the way that the world is going, especially in America, jobs are becoming more obsolete. So you're not going to necessarily, you can't even depend on a job in America, to be honest. If you're quite
Mhm.
honest, a lot of people have been shifting careers every 2 to 3 years for that very reason. And so when you come to Africa, come with the entrepreneur's mindset. When we left in 2020, we already knew before we left, okay, we're not going to find jobs in Africa. We're not even going to attempt to find jobs in Africa. So before we leave, we wanted to have a business that was in place, that was not only in place, but actually profitable, replacing both of our incomes and able to sustain our family and expand across different territories and different borders within Africa, within the Middle East as well. So those are like two of the largest mindset shifts that people need to have as they're choosing to exit the matrix. Your
Mhm.
ability to exit the matrix is really based on the way that you think your life is going to go here. Because again, the way that people can try, like if you were to go to Spain, you could go to Spain, you could go to Greece, you could go to like Austria visa free if you have a residence permit there, because that's the way their systems are set up. But in Africa, we don't have that yet, and Africa is much bigger than Europe, by the way. Europe is like this small. Africa is an entire continent with 54 countries, and all of the countries are bigger than European countries. Every single African country, most of them are bigger than European countries and much more populated. So there are different requirements that are in place throughout these different territories that you're going to have to understand. And what goes along with that is like if you've been to West Africa or if you know people in West Africa, they can only tell
Mhm.
you about the country that they're from or that they've been to. Those rules and that culture and whatever goes there will not apply to another region. That even goes for East Africa as well. Like Africa is so nuanced and so complex that you really just have to be here to experience it and prepare yourself the best you can before you leave.
Yes, you have to. So, shalom, shalom, family. Make sure you like the video if you are enjoying this information, because we're gonna give you some gems in this video. We're gonna just get right to the point and let you know what the real is, because it's not time to be sugarcoating anything. It's time to like really tell the truth and get look. This is what it is. Accept it. Uh, swallow it, chew it up, eat it, digest it, and get moving because it's not time to play. It
Yeah, because
really
this
is.
matrix,
It's not.
matrix, man, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
and you really don't really understand that you're in the matrix until you step outside of it. Um, you really can't. It's so many examples, and I don't want to use the wrong example, but that's just what it is. You got to step outside the bubble to know that you were in a bubble.
But I mean, for us, we knew we were in the matrix. We
Yeah,
knew it didn't make sense.
but that's why we got out of it.
Right. But you know what I'm saying is the people, I think the people that are lukewarm in their decision to move to Africa may wind up back in America. Like if you're in America and there's any ounce of you that feels like it's not the matrix, you'll probably just be like, well, if I'm going back to America. Like before we left, we literally had a spiritual disdain for America, just for Western society as a whole, which is why we've been in Africa for the past 4 going on 5 years and will continue to be here throughout the duration of our lives. And it's literally because we have that seed of disdain towards everything that the West represents. And so it's easy for us to say, yes, I'm always going to be in Africa. I'm always going to invest in African nations. I'm always going to invest in African people. I'm always going to be on this continent.
Yeah, I think it's once you get that mindset of like really loving your community, like I know in the States it was like buy black, and what's the root of black is Africa. So you might as well just get back to Africa and invest in the continent, like really.
Yeah, that was our mindset for sure. But yeah, hashtag buy black. We used to do that. There was like this great, oh man, that food was so good in Columbus. It was like it was a salmon sandwich with pineapple. I used to get by a black owned business in Ohio. We were so big on buying black until, like you said, it came to the point, well, what's the root of buying black? The root of buying black is let me go take my African self back to Africa and enjoy
Yeah,
my life.
yeah, and that's the most important thing is to really get to the root of everything. And if you get to the root of America, how America became, that should be obvious that it's not for our people. It's not for melanated people. It's not for. I mean, it's. I gotta watch what I say. It's it's not for us. You got to be really wise in these days, um, because we see what's really going on, all the deception, and that's really where it came from. When they came here, they deceived our ancestors to say, "Hey, it's okay. You're gonna have a good new life."
Come on, kids, we got a magic
Like
tree in
it's
the boat. I read a
yeah,
documentary that
that's
actually
deep.
said
It's
that
deep. So
from a descendant of slaves that said the European man came when he was in Guinea. He came on a boat. They told his mom, "Hey, we have this cool tree. Can we show your son?" I don't know how they translated it. Maybe they spoke the language, whatever it was, but they translated it, and the mom was like, "Yeah, go ahead, go down, go ahead down there, go look in the boat." And they took him, and he never came back.
yeah, so
Never came back.
it really get that deep. Like America's deceived capital of the world.
America's the most deceived capital of the world.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
for
think
sure.
them
The
next to
West,
Great Britain and Rome, Italy,
and it's the root, the root,
because
the
they're
root.
historical, they've been in the game of deception a little bit longer than America, but
Yeah,
America is their daughter,
exactly.
the
So
daughter of Babylon.
yeah,
So that's the main reason for you to leave the matrix. And I know you see the writing on the wall. You're like, they have all these robots. We were watching a documentary earlier today, and it was talking about how in Japan they're working on these robots that are going to have flesh and they're going to look more human. This is the matrix we're talking about. Like literally, you have a society that's going to be fake and it's going to be a non-real society where the rest of the world is just looking like, wow, they do that over there. That's kind of crazy. And it's literally going to be like two separate worlds where the people in the West that are stuck in this fake society and the people outside of the West, the humans outside who are just living an organic life. And if you're tired of the matrix, don't let anybody in your family gaslight you. Don't let your friends gaslight you. Don't let anybody tell you not to move, because moving to Africa is the best decision that you can make for your entire lineage.
exactly. Like that's probably like um knowing about Africa, being connected with someone here in Africa. I think that's probably the best way to go in the future. Like even if you are not ready to leave right now. It's hard to say that, but um, at least be connected, build a relationship with
Mm.
somebody on the ground, because what is to come is going to be very deceptive, and I hope people can like really tell the the fake from the real, the fake from the truth. So seek truth.
Yeah, and it honestly, there's never been an easier time to move to Africa. We left in 2020, but here in 2024, going into 2025, you have it even easier because you see content like this. You see content on Ghana, Senegal, Gambia, South Africa, Botswana, Seychelles, Mauritius, Mozambique. You see content on all of these African countries. You even see content about blacks in Dubai, blacks in Albania, black African Americans in all these different places. And so you've never had this much leverage ever in history to be able to travel the way that you do now. And
Yeah,
so you don't have anything to be afraid of,
yeah. I say the
but you should be ready to make a quick move out the matrix. Like you were saying, get your finances together. Do that like today. When we say finances together, that means choose a business, choose a specific industry to get in, and do not stop doing it. Go 100%. Don't be like 25 split in 30 different directions. Like put 100% in one specific online business idea. Why do we say online? Because that's where the world is. We've seen such a huge shift between people that are like middle age from like 50 to 60s that have businesses but are having trouble running their businesses in this age because the world is so much different than it was 30 years ago. Like
yeah.
30 years ago, people had to go to networking events, but it's 2024. You don't have to do that. You can literally sit in your villa in, whatever African country of your choosing. Do business in America, do business in Dubai, do business in the Caribbean, work with all these different clients, work on all of these high caliber contracts and live your best life abroad. If you're someone that this is like news to you, this is something obviously they don't teach in college, like think about it. When it comes
Mhm.
even to student loans, you can get tens of thousands of dollars in debt in student loans, but if you want to do a business, they're like, no, you can't get your business loan, right? So you're raised already to not even think of entrepreneurship. And I implore you not to take the victim mentality and say, oh, I need business funding. Oh, I don't have this. Oh, I don't have that. I implore you to actually be victorious and choose to be courageous and say, you know what? It doesn't matter what I don't have. What I do have is my brain. What I do have
Yeah,
is my life experience. What I do have is the ability to learn a high value skill so that I can be in a different position in the next 5 to 10 years.
yeah. Because knowledge is pouring out, and it's there for you to grab. You just gotta grab it, do the research, and just keep moving forward. Like now more than ever, it's so many of us traveling where before it wasn't. We didn't see our people traveling like this. Like every day, every week, I see another melanated person like traveling and say, "Hey, I'm here in this country. Hey, I'm here in this country." And it's like, man, all this information out here, this is great. You gotta really take advantage of this. Like it's a shift that's happening. So please like understand that it's gonna be a very pivotal moment right now for you to like really plant your seeds, because the next year. Oh, I thinking about the next year. Ha! Look, it's a lot of stuff that's about to happen, and you got to be in the right environment. You have to be in the right environment. Like that's, I know you already see it. I know you already just look up in the evening time. Look up in the evening
Oh
time, and I know
gosh.
you just see what's in the skies and what they saying and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot that's going on that we don't know about behind the scenes. But if you have that foresight, and the Most High actually is speaking through you to you, um, in His wisdom, understanding, you know, it's clear, it's obvious, it's very obvious of what's to come, especially to America. Like
Yeah.
really, all that bloodshed there, all that digging, they dig this big old hole. and pretty soon it's gonna they gonna fall right into it. So just don't fall with it. Don't fall with them.
I mean, it already has fallen right into it. I mean, if you look at Western society, it's collapsing before our eyes, whether you can see that or not is happening. Whether you see the literal destruction of the Western society happening or not, it's already in motion. It's already here.
Oh yeah.
How do we know this? Because anytime you have a nation that suffers with birth rates, the society is going to decline and it can't repopulate itself. Anytime you have a place that has the highest levels of cancer, heart attack rates, heart disease, obviously that's not a good society. No matter how many
Hmm.
beautiful skyscrapers you put up, no matter how many propaganda and advertisements you put out, no matter how many, whatever they put out there, the root and the real matter is that the West is falling quickly. The West is falling. And the way for you to get your leverage out of the West falling is for you to grab your blue passport, choose an African country that's visa free for Americans, get your business residence through your business that you started in America, and call it a day.
Hmm.
Call it a day. You can still work with your American clients if you want. You can still work with your Caribbean clients. You can work with clients in Dubai. You can work with clients wherever. We've worked with clients in Gambia, right? We work with clients in Ghana. But the reality is that America is not sustainable for the long term. I was also watching a video earlier. It was like, dang. So, y'all know how they had the tech layoffs I guess a few months ago, not a few weeks, a few months ago, they had all the tech layoffs in different tech firms like Facebook, HubSpot, all these different high value tech companies. They laid off a bunch of people. And so I saw some TikTok videos and it was actually talking about the next round of layoffs in, can anybody guess the sector before I say the sector? I don't know if y'all can guess the sector. Can anybody guess what sector these layoffs are in? It's not technology. And it's not the type of layoffs that you're thinking. It's a detachment from a specific sector, but it's from the people who are working in that sector. They're exiting the sector. I'm going to say it, okay? It's nursing and doctors. There's this trend going on amongst the medical community of nursing and doctors that are quitting. Now, I quit nursing ooh, 7 years ago, okay? But I'll tell you, we'd be ahead of the curve. But seriously, like working and I can't even imagine what it's like still working in nursing to this day. Oh my God, because the corruption of the healthcare system, when you work in the medical industry, you get to see all of that up close. You get to see how they're over there poisoning people. You over there giving people this chemotherapy and they don't really need it. You over there doing this, you doing all this. And then on top of that, the issues with the patients, then they're also being rude to the staff. Doctors, I used to work on neuroscience floor. The doctors would be coming to work drugged out, drunk because they're that stressed out. By the
Mm.
way, if anyone doesn't know, doctors are the highest profession that has insane rates of unhappiness and depression. That's how much stress is put on these professionals that spent years, got 200, 300, 500K in debt to come and work in this. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I'm living a nightmare. How do I get out of this? So it was like this TikTok trend, and all these nurses, all these doctors were like, don't go to nursing school, don't be a doctor, just whatever you do, try to do something else because they're so depressed, they're so overworked. And that's like the next phase of not necessarily layoffs, but of professionals that are going to be leaving. But I think what's going to happen is they're going to have some of those robots come in and step in and say, oh, robots, we can tell you how to be the doctor. This is why it's also so important when you're getting out the matrix. Get out the matrix while you're in America by being able to care for your own health for your family. Meaning, do you actually know what a regular pulse rate is? Do you know how to take blood pressure? Do you know how to find a pulse rate? Do you know what to feed your family and what to give them if they're sick? Do you know how to stop a fever in your children without depending on loads of Tylenol? This is how you get out the matrix by knowing how to care for your family, to care for yourself, and to be self-sufficient through entrepreneurship. When you have those two things, it's much easier for you to move outside the matrix. When you have that type of knowledge, this is the knowledge that we came with coming to Africa. So for some people where they find difficulty in Africa is like you've been so dependent on the Western system and you didn't wean yourself off of that system while you were there. Your separation from the matrix has to occur while you're still physically in the matrix. Like you have to
Mhm.
detach from the healthcare, you got to detach from the food, you got to detach from the health issues, you got to detach from all of that stuff. You got to detach from the 9 to 5, you got to detach from consumerism, you got to detach from capitalism. You have to start these things now, especially if you're going to be traveling and moving to Africa in 2025, especially in Q1, the first quarter, like January, February, March, maybe even April. If you're trying to get out by that time frame, it's absolutely possible. You can 100% do it, but you have to take these steps. And you have to also find mentorship. You have to get in networks. You have to get in community because Africa is a communal space. Even business is communal, though. Like, no one gets in business. No successful bit. When I say successful, I mean six-figure business that can repeat its sales month after month, that has been in business for multiple years. No successful business gets to that level without mentorship and without investing and without hiring a team or training interns, depending on the business model. And Africa is the exact same way. Like you can't look at it any other way. That's just the reality. That's just life. Even if
Mhm.
you're getting into a new sector, like if you used to be in engineering and now you're going over to communication strategy, you're probably going to have to go to some communications events to start out. If you're not going to be physically at those events, you're going to have to attend those online events on LinkedIn. You're going to have to connect with different people, right? Africa is the exact same way.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Anything else, or you think that's it for this video?
um, I mean, this look, finances is important because I know this is a serious time. Like we come on here, I know we say the same thing, but we have to like you have to be prepared. You have to know what's coming because it's coming. It's not just gonna stop. It's not gonna stop because you right there. Like things has to happen. Things has to unfold. So just make sure you just take these steps serious, um, and just do it. Just do it. You gotta just do it. You gotta believe. You gotta have faith and trust.
What do you think? You said it's coming. What is it?
Chaos.
What was chaos? Like, is that, are you
I
talking
can't
about
tell you.
jobs? Are you talking about
All of it.
banking?
Everything
Are you
is
talking
gonna
about
fall.
health? Are you talking
Everything's
about
gonna fall.
war? You're saying
All of
all
it.
levels.
Everything that you see on the news, everything. War, crime, violence, finances, the economy,
The
food,
robots,
farms. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. So
the struggle.
you just gotta prepare.
Now, how can they prepare though?
I, how can they?
I would say, if you trying to prepare like we did 4 years ago around this time, what I would do to prepare, again,
I say fast and pray. Fast and pray, and really try to seek the Most High, because now is the time. Like you really have to be in tune with His Spirit, so He can lead you and guide you. Because I know it's tougher than ever. Because just from stories that we hear, it's hard to get jobs and stuff. It's like whoa.
to prepare from a practical standpoint, if you look at the story of Joseph when he was dealing with the famine, obviously he received the interpretation of Pharaoh's dreams. But then with the interpretation came strategy, where he says, hey, you're going to need to do that. You're going to need to save for 7 years of the good years, save up. So, literally, financial strategy, like you were talking
Mm,
about. That's how you prepare. There's no other way to prepare outside of financial strategy. Once you receive the vision in the spirit, go to the financial strategy. How much do you need to save? How much are you going to be spending in Africa? What neighborhood are you likely to live in? How much do you think you'll be spending in that neighborhood per month? These are exercises we did before we came to Tanzania and before we came to the country we're now in. You can subscribe to members only if you'd like to know the country we're in and get access to over 50 videos showing our movement from Tanzania to this new country. But our community does not know enough about finances, which is why I love working in finances as a content writer, as a copywriter. I love working in finances. I love working in tax relief investments, all that stuff, because this is the knowledge that we need. Like
yeah.
literally. This is the knowledge that they historically kept from our people, just like they would have our people not able to read back in the slave days, right? They didn't want you to read. It's the same thing with finances. They don't want you to understand what's going on. They don't want you to understand entrepreneurship. Why? Because once you understand entrepreneurship and you become confident in your level of expertise, then it's like, oh, I can't pull the wool over this person's eyes. They're free
Mm-hmm.
to go do whatever they want because they're not dependent necessarily on Babylon. They're dependent on their own brain and the giftings that the Most High gave them. That you can take anywhere. I can take my brain to Australia if I want. I can take my brain to a random island country called Vanuatu if I want. I can take my brain to Ethiopia and my brain's still gonna work. I'm just saying. But this is how like you have to look at life because Babylon isn't the big bank that I depend on. I depend on
Yeah,
what the Most High has put in my brain.
yeah, and that's
I'm the
good.
niche. I'm the like seriously.
That's
You're the
good.
niche. I'm the niche. You are the niche.
That's good because just don't have a brain of Babylon. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that just depends on chat BT two
You glitching.
chat the chat thing and AI and stuff
Oh,
that they really can't think for themselves. So
you
that's
taking me
that's
on a new
that
topic.
that's why we got to just educate ourselves. Like really, we got to do the research. We got to educate ourselves because if not, um, you're just gonna depend on chat GPT, right? GPT.
Yeah, that's so because
Dang,
I
it's
was
so
going on
crazy.
a
I
rant about
Yeah,
this morning, coming from somebody that used to work in neuroscience,
it's hot.
also in nursing homes with dementia. Guys, please don't throw your brain out to a robot. Seriously. Like, there are studies that show if older adults, grandparents, do not play with grandchildren, retire too early, sit all day and do nothing, then they deteriorate quicker. Because in the human body, what you don't use, you lose. Meaning, if you depend on AI to write everything for you, if you depend on AI, you wake up and say, Chat GPT, what should I do today? You couldn't think about what you wanted to do today. You wake up and say, Chat GPT, what do you think about this? You couldn't
Mm.
go to the Most High and pray. Chat GPT, well, I've been thinking, you couldn't sit down and take pen to paper and write out what you want to do in your journal. Like God, if you pimp out your own brain to AI, you will not have a brain to use when you're in your 40s and 50s. There are studies on this.
Mm.
If you do not use your brain and you depend on robots to think for you, you will not have a brain in the next 30 years. You will have early dementia. This is that serious. This is why I'm so adamant about when I come in and I teach writers, when I teach entrepreneurs how to write empathy driven content, I always tell them like what you don't use, you're gonna lose. You can use it for basic research, that's it. But you're a human, you need to leverage your brain. Like if I like just lay my arm down and then lay on it and crush it, it's gonna become limp and deteriorated. Like I can't do that. Now imagine you doing that to your brain every day because you don't want to think and then you do that to your relationship with the Most High.
Mm.
Oh, that's treacherous, man. Can you
Yeah.
imagine that the Most High creates humans, and then humans at this day and age are like, I don't want to pray to the Most High. I think I'll just keep talking to this robot.
It's
How disrespectful and
demonic.
ungrateful.
Yeah, it's demonic.
So ungrateful that we have humans on this earth today, mostly in Western society, that will talk to AI more than they commune with their Heavenly Father.
It's deep, y'all.
And then people say, well, Africa don't work. No, a lot of people's brains aren't working. Let's be honest. We're in a very interesting time frame where humans are, at least in the West, you don't see this as much outside of the West, where humans do not have the ability to think and comprehend anymore. Like things that should be simple, that like we say should be just this should be common sense. Like I should be able to give you point A, point B, which one do you want to take, and it be simple, isn't simple anymore because tech and over reliance on technology overcomplicates everything.
Mm.
And so your brain is just like mashed potatoes and it's just a mess because people are going to be overly dependent on AI. Everybody's favorite. Oh, that's sad. My speaker dead. Okay, people are going to be overly dependent on AI, everybody's favorite new project. And it's like you literally have a creator that wants to hear from you, wants to speak to you, sacrifice himself in the flesh for you, but you're like, no, I'm going to talk to ChatGPT and ask it what I should do. We're in strange times, family. So if you're someone that's like, yeah, I need to get out this matrix, I don't want to be a part of those that don't have a brain, then make the move. It'll be the best, most simple, easy decision of your life. A lot of people say, oh, it's not an easy move. Maybe I'm just not sane on people's standards, but to me, it's a very easy move. Once you have your finances and you can think clearly, I don't know how, to me, it would be harder to stay in America, but that's my perspective. To me, it's the easiest move I've ever made in my life. Do I want to go travel in the most beautiful regions on the face of the earth? Do I want to homeschool my children and allow them to enjoy traveling with me? That's a easy yes for me. Me personally, that's an easy yes. And so we also don't align with people that say, oh my gosh, Africa is such a hard move. It's really not. If you have knowledge. Now, if you don't have knowledge, then maybe it could be difficult. But once you have knowledge, it's like, you're going to slow travel. You're going to choose a low corrupt country. You're going to go somewhere that has a digital nomad residence. You're going to live your best life. And it's real simple. You're only going to stay in safe areas. You just, it's just really simple. I don't know what people find so difficult about it, unless, again, what you kept saying about finances. That's the only thing. Like if your
Yeah,
finances aren't together.
I know that's a big thing. Yeah, I know that's a big thing for our people. So I just know because a lot of people just be hitting us up. That's good.
Oh,
Um, about that, and we see a lot of people comment and stuff like that too. Talk about finance, and you know, I get it, but it comes a point in a time where you really gotta, like I said, you really gotta seek the Most High. If you really want this, you gotta sacrifice. It causes a big sacrifice. You gotta be uncomfortable of not doing what you're used to. If you only got to eat one time, if you so used to going to work and eating out every lunch break, you might look. You better just eat once a day or something. I don't know. This is not um
I don't think it's that
this,
drastic.
but it could be. It could be. Some people, they just don't have self control. You got to have discipline, self control, and sacrifice. And the Most High really want to see that from His people that's serious and that really wants to have this desire to be in Africa. You got to prove it. Like you gotta know it and trust in the Most High. So yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say.
Yeah, tangibly, the main way to prove it and to show that you do trust is to actually start your business. Choose the industry, choose a level of expertise, start your business, run your business, make it profitable, master marketing, master sales, go online and get leverage because you don't want to depend on a local business. I think that's another area people go wrong. You think, okay, I'm going to just depend on a local business. A local business is going to drastically stunt your growth and you're going to be on the struggle bus. Why do I say that? As an international marketing strategist, before we ever left Ohio, we had clients in multiple continents. Meaning, we've only had like 2 or 3 clients in Columbus, Ohio. Most of our clients were scattered throughout Canada, the Bahamas, the Middle East, California. Now, you may say, how? Because we get on LinkedIn, we get on social media, and we allow words to do the heavy lifting. And that it's really that simple. Like, I think were we talking about this recently? How like simple thing, like people try to overcomplicate stuff so much that the most simplest thing is what you need to do. Literally, when I say daily, we take weekends off usually, but daily we will go on our social media profiles, post content from our core messaging, structure our offers, serve our clients, rinse and repeat. That's it. There's no like gimmick, there's no like secret formula other than the fact that you need to be an expert at what you do and learn marketing. Other than that, if you know marketing, then you can make it anywhere on earth. Literally. If you know strategic communications, you can make it anywhere. I don't care if you're on top of a mountain in China. I'm dead serious because strategic communications is the key to everything that you need because you're able to empathize with other groups and other people and get a barter system. You're able to empathize with other groups and other people and do business. You can understand their needs and they understand what you need and you work together. That's why strategic communications is so powerful, which is what we teach inside Black Educators Amplified. If you'd like to apply, check out the link in the description. Like we got here today because of strategic communications and the grace of the Most High. But the practical skill that He gave us, strategic communications. And by the way, video marketing, if you're a video editor, it's it's like a gold mine right now. Like all of the contracts that I see on LinkedIn, because I do a lot of contracting on LinkedIn, all those contracts are for video editors. So if you're someone, because sometimes we get people that are like, I don't know what to do, I don't know, become a video editor right now, today. Edit videos for different small, medium, and large businesses. Start your portfolio, work with 2 clients for free for 2 weeks. Get a testimonial of you filming their content, editing their content, put the portfolio together. Then you're going to make a list of 50 businesses that you want to work with. You're going to get all those email addresses of those 50 businesses. You're going to email those people and introduce yourself. That's how you're going to find your client in the next 30 days. That's simple. But you have to actually do that. Like if you don't want to do it, then it's like, yeah, then you will be stuck in the matrix work system because you don't want to work for your own self. Like for us, we would rather work for our own self every time, no matter what, rather than go back to a 9 to 5 in America straight up. I'm just not into continuing to make corporations richer that are already filthy rich. Why don't I make my lineage rich and help my community become rich? To me, that's what makes sense to me. So that's what we do. But you have to have your own core values and your own alignment within yourself to even know what you want to do when you come or what you're going to do before you leave. And you can't be afraid. You can't just, be so fearful and doubtful. Be strong and be very courageous. Stand up. Like our people in the biblical narratives weren't fearful. And if they were fearful, there was always a prophet, there was always a chosen one who was not fearful, that was available to lead the people into the promise, into the blessing. You have to choose to be that person for yourself. You have to come with the understanding that no one is coming to save you. Don't be a victim. Choose today to stand up for yourself using the authority that you've been given, because every human on the face of the earth has been given a measure of favor and authority. So if you've been given a good measure, use it. That's what we do. We've been given a great measure. So we leverage it because we're not going to waste the blessing, the mercy, the loving kindness of the Most High.
Hallelujah.
Yes, I think that's the end of this video. I really want to drink my limonata. Y'all know what that is, a limonata? It's a good lemon drink, okay? It's fantastic. It's my favorite thing.
Yes, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed the content. Make sure you like the video. If you haven't and you are in the chat now, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We greatly appreciate it. Leave your comments below. If you catch this late, check the links in the description because we got some awesome things coming up in January that is really pivotal for our people, or our people really need to, you know, understand that this is something way bigger than today. This is years to
The
come.
state of the diaspora,
Yeah,
2025.
yeah, state of
How to
diaspora.
move to Africa, travel Africa, do business sustainably and not go back to America. There's some stuff you gotta know that we know. How do we know? Because we've been given the gift to be able to research and know. So yeah, we're sharing it with a group of 15 entrepreneurs. Sorry, not only entrepreneurs. They can be lawyers, realtors, experts, but essentially they're experts that are serious about moving. We find that people who are already experts in a specific field do better in Africa from the data that we have after working with hundreds and thousands of diaspora. The people that have some type of expertise, meaning you're a teacher, you're a doctor, you're a realtor, you're in functional medicine, you're in law, you're in marketing, you're in video marketing, you're in communications, you have some type of expertise that makes it 10 times easier because you can come to nearly any African market and find your community there, whether it's arts, science, business, finance. It makes it super easy when you have that expertise and leverage it, use it. So, yeah, let's say the diaspora.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Yeah. So leverage is the key now. Like really, leverage is the key. So check the links in the description. You can email us with any questions, and we will talk to you next video. Shalom.
Shalom.